Some guys look better with short hair. Other guys look better with long hair. This video, we're going to take a look at 10 guys that look absolutely on point with long hair. Up first is going to be Jared Leto. Now, Jared's pretty much looked like Jesus since about 2012. I think as you can see from these pictures of Jared with short hair, when he doesn't have a beard and when he has the short hair, for me, he looks slightly more feminine. Whereas when you put the long hair on him and you put the beard on him, he has a slightly more masculine look. He kind of has that kind of like Jesus, disciple, biblical look kind of down, and he really makes it work for him. Number 2 is going to be Aidan Turner, best known for playing Poldark. Now, Aidan's a really interesting one because with the long hair, I've seen him described as being the ideal man for a lot of women. However, when he has the short hair, I've seen him described as looking a little bit like a hobbit, and I've seen him compared to Mo Salah, the Liverpool player. So it's really interesting how just a little change in hair and a little change in facial hair kind of completely changes people's perceptions of him and kind of completely changes where people see him. For me, he looks much better with the long hair. Number 3 is Marlon Teixeira, the Brazilian Instagram model. Now again, Marlon's a good looking dude, so to be fair, he probably looked good with however he wore his hair. But the long hair is an interesting one because fundamentally, as a man, if you have long hair, you don't want to have it layered because layered hair on a man can make you look very feminine and very preened in an instant. But though Marlon almost has his fringe cut different lengths to the rest of his hair, it actually kind of works for him. So it's an interesting example of a way to wear your long hair. And he kind of has that wavy, curly haired, dishevelled look down perfectly. Number 4 is going to be Jason Momoa. And let's be fair, you knew this was coming. Jason's an interesting one because Jason looks about as dishevelled and messy as you can possibly look, but yet somehow he still manages to be a Hollywood actor, and somehow he still has a kind of air of class about him that you wouldn't necessarily expect with someone who essentially looks a little bit like a glorified mettler. But I think since Game of Thrones and since being Aquaman, Jason's kind of that poster boy for long hair and that poster boy for really how you can make long hair look manly at the same time. Number 5 is going to be Orlando Bloom, but to be fair, only really when he's playing Will Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean. I know it's kind of hard now to make a case for Orlando Bloom being relevant, but I think you have to be honest and make no mistake that back when he shot the Pirates of the Caribbean film, Orlando really made long hair work for him. Number 6 is William Tyler, the Instagram model. And again, he kind of has that Jared Leto, Jesus chic kind of down. And it's really interesting again how his look's almost defined by the long hair, because if you actually look at him facially, he's got a very, very long face. But having the long hair and having the beard kind of takes attention away from that and gives him a kind of mystical look, which really, really works for him. Next up is going to be Henry Cavill. And I realise that Henry Cavill has sported short, clean-cut hair for a while now. But back in 2012, when he first came on the scene as Superman, and people were just kind of finding out who he was, he actually sported long wavy hair, and for me that was actually the best he's ever looked. Number 8 is going to be Enrico Ravenna, the Instagram model and actor. Now, I actually found Enrico on Pinterest, I think it was, when I was so close to cutting my hair. But I saw him and I thought, do you know what? Here's a dude with longish wavy hair that's really making it work. And that kind of served as a little bit of motivation to keep me going. Next, Michael B. Jordan. Now, I realise Michael B. Jordan's hair isn't actually that long in relation to the other people that we've discussed, but for me, when he plays Killmonger in Black Panther, he kind of takes on a completely different look to what he does when he has the short hair and the short crew cut. I remember seeing Michael in That Awkward Moment with Zac Efron, I think, where he plays a really shy, awkward guy who's just been dumped by his wife. Then I saw him playing Killmonger in Black Panther and I just thought, wow, the man's kind of taken on a completely different image. Lastly, Brock O'Hearn, 6'7", an absolute man mountain of hair. The really interesting thing about Brock O'Hearn for me though is the fact that he's only 28. So if you look at how long his hair is, God knows how young he must have been when he started growing it. But definitely makes it work for him. Absolutely no denying that. And that's it. 10 really good examples of guys that make long hair work for them.